What the fuck?
WTF News.
Now, dolphins are getting some blowies, y'all. And that shit is getting them high. Now, dolphins are using blowfish as a recreational drug to get high. And that's what scientists are proclaiming. And it's some university called Murdoch University in Paris. It's in Australia. And they recorded that dolphins are puffing on pufferfish that is, and they're passing them throughout the pod, and blowfish and pufferfish house like a poisonous substance that's known as tetrodotoxin in their flesh, which is extremely deadly and over 1,000 times more dangerous than cyanide is. However, when consumed with just the right amount, it can actually induce like a trance-like state similar to what we experience when we take narcotic drugs. So naturally, dolphins, are taking advantage. And BBC had first cited the shit back in 2014 in a documentary called "Dolphins Spying the Pod." And like I said, you can see dolphins, they're biting down on blowfish and then just releasing it so it floats over to their neighbor, pretty much passing the Dutchie on the left-hand side. I didn't get to see what rotation this shit was, but yeah, I mean, naturally that shit can kill us if it was humans, but because they're a certain type of mammal and they're in the sea, and I'm not too sure if that shit gets diluted, but they're chiefing and chewing on these shits called blowies. So if you have a man complaining about not getting enough head, go on, blow some to yourself. What the fuck?
News.
Alright, so just to keep things in Australia for just a little bit, there was a debt-ridden student who blew $1.3 million on sport cars, speedboats, strippers, and cocaine after there was a bank error that gave him unlimited overdraft, which Alright, so let me just finish up with this wannabe playboy, Luke Moore, who lived a high life for 2 years before he was caught by cops and then jailed on fraud charges. He treated himself to luxury holidays, an Aston Martin, a Maserati, and a boat while living, pretty much the goddamn ultimate bachelor lifestyle. Now, I don't condone strippers and cocaine, but I told myself, and I live by this, I would never go to Las Vegas, because that's all that I see the point of, is doing cocaine and hookers. And if you ain't there to spend that kind of money, what the fuck's the point, nigga? We got reservations, we got casinos everywhere. Now, Moore, who was 29, went free last week after winning an appeal of his conviction on grounds that his actions were not deceptive. Now, he's broke and living with his mother out in Goulburn, New South Wales, ironically while studying to become a criminal lawyer. So the fact that this shit was able to get passed, I can't knock him. I would have fucking chipped away at my goddamn mortgage. Matter of fact, I would have been done with this bitch so that all I would have to work for would be to have, the basic amenities. I feel that's the most important shit. And it kind of shows you where, someone's head is at and their immaturity, because because you could only do blow for so fucking long before you bust a goddamn what is it called when you get some kind of into your nose bloodstream, and then all of a sudden you can't fucking breathe the right way. I forget the word for it. I'm pretty sure I put it in the video. If I do, if I don't, it don't fucking matter, because hookers get old real fast. The whole point, you pay them so they can fucking leave, or so I guess strippers, you would then leave unless you're getting prostitutes, and that's a whole nother deal. And that just seems like a whole waste of money too, because why the fuck would you? Would you? What the fuck?
News.
Alright, so keeping in the realm of things that belong to you. In Venezuela, a woman who was arrested after several guards caught her trying to break her boyfriend out of jail by smuggling this motherfucker in a goddamn pink suitcase. Yeah, Miss Antonita Robles Sauda, 25-year-old bitch with a 6-year-old daughter, went to go visit her boyfriend, Mr. Jose Vargas Garcia, who was serving a 9-year prison sentence in Venezuela. And while, they were up there, she tried to put the man in his suitcase and attempted to fucking sneak his ass out. Now, when they tried to walk past the guard, she struggled to push the goddamn suitcase, which prompted them to search the luggage and led to the discovery. Now, the craziest fucking shit, if you can look at the pictures of them, because she's real cute, and this motherfucker's just like a little midget mini motherfucker, and he literally fit in the goddamn thing along with some clothes. Like, she should have covered him, she should have done something, but you look at the fucking pictures and it should be the fuck out. That New York Post had a picture of it, and I'll probably try to include this shit in the video if y'all looking at the YouTube version of it. But goddamn, what the fuck?
WTF News.
Alright, so what would Jesus do It's a question that, I often ask myself, WWJD, when you're in a really fucked up situation. But out of all things, though, I'm pretty fucking sure he wouldn't rob a bank. Well, an unemployed Lakeland, Florida man faces a 5-year prison sentence and a fine of up to $250,000 after making $7 billion fraudulent wire transfers because, and this is according to him, Jesus Christ chose him to be wealthy. Now, Mr. John Haskell earned him several eye rolls from law enforcement authorities who arrested him back in December. Now, he has stated that Jesus Christ created wealth for everyone. Using this scheme, Haskell, Haskew, believed that he could obtain this wealth that Jesus Christ created for him and that it belonged to him. Now, he entered a guilty plea on Thursday to one charge of making a false fraudulent statement to the department agency. But he apparently was self-taught on the banking industry, and he was able to learn how to make fraudulent wire transfers through experimentation. And when they asked him why he continued to make more wire transfers, because $7 billion, that's a goddamn lot. Wealthy would be for you to be well off for the rest of your life, but that's just ridiculous. Was he spreading the news? I don't fucking know, but he was apparently they didn't identify in the news articles and all the stories, because I'm pretty sure they're fucking embarrassed that he was able to make it to that fucking state. But he just, picked a big stash man, was able to hack into the fucking system. Now, I'm pretty fucking sure. Now, when I hear stories, especially like the last ones, you figure after making so much, you would just do the responsible thing and pass it on. Like when they pass the blunt, the joint, whatever fucking peace pipe, Cherokee shit, you take your hit, get one with the universe, and then you pass it on. I always felt that way with hoes. I had my way, gave them some knowledge, sent them along the world. Most of them, are beautifully married and have kids by now. It's not to say that my dick has that power, but you pass things along and hopefully leave it in a better place than it was before. Now, I don't know what it was about to do with that $7 billion, but I'm pretty sure at least after my $1 billion, I would have probably chilled. Definitely after my first 7 million. Maybe is it because I'm a humble man? I don't fucking know, but I would have stopped at 7 something, not 7 trillion. 7 billion. God dang. What the fuck? What the fuck?
What in the WTF news?
Lord forgive me, because I've been cursing way too much. I've been damning too much. I had told myself that instead of saying goddamn, I was gonna say God bless. And every time that you take just a beautiful fucking hit and it just opens up your mind and you can just feel all the endorphins, just, what I'm saying, you're gonna say God bless it. Every time you fucking take a snort of some shit and you feel you're all pumped up and you feel like you take on the world, God bless it. Every time that bad bitch you've been following for so fucking long finally just comes and she goes out of your way to suck your dick, God bless it. And all the times that when just these things that we hold so dearly happen and touch us, we should say God bless and never goddamn. And you really never know what you're gonna get when you go to church. Enlightenment, you hope, maybe, a sense of community and friendship, you would hope so, perhaps, but getting stoned out of your gourd, apparently that can happen too. At least that was the case for 6 congregation members at the St. John Apostles Catholic Church up in Bloomington, Indiana last year, and the 6 thought that they were indulging in some sinfully delicious cookies. As it turned out, they were correct. Now, a 74-year-old man, parishioner, I don't know what that means, but he was identified only as Mr. Jones. He's now accused of lacing cookies with THC, and several congregants aged fucking from 12 to 70 ended up in a local emergency room and then complaining of adverse effects. And they came from the cookies, which were reported tasting unusually salty. Now, because I know one of the better ways when you make it is when you actually make it into the butter itself, you put that onto the shit. So I know when you do that, there shouldn't be any bit about it that way unless he was just going for I don't know how the fuck he did it. But Mr. Jones initially admitted to making these cookies but denied, adding any illegal substances to them. Now, when the police obtained a warrant to search through his crib, they actually found orange pill bottles containing capsules of the brown oily substance. And I think that's where he might have fucked up, because that isn't the best way to do it, and those shits are already proportioned in a certain fucking way, unless he was trying to measure it so much accurately. I can't explain why he would have fucking done it that way. So this thing probably had to mash it. Who knows how the fuck he did it, but we are praying for Mr. Jones and are keeping the prayers for those who look ill. But see, one of the things that that always got me about that, because I mean, at least because I can admit to trying, and you might have fucking seen me on video doing it a couple times, but when I indulge, I really do feel like it takes me to amplified place. A lot of times we get that paranoia from our guilt or some other shit, but usually it's to open your eyes, saying, to get that third eye going on, if you can find your connection to the Holy Spirit itself, which I have had, and I'm saying it comes nowhere near close, but a blessed second, if you know what I mean. And one of the things though about when you have the edibles is that it will put you on your ass, and it helps a lot. I mean, you see it from helping pain to helping loneliness to just to literally helping folks fucking with cancer and going through the chemo, like all that shit. Like, it really does have its medical effects, but some people it really does throw you off. My mama, apparently, when she would do it, or when she's tried, she's always thrown up, and that's how these fuckers got caught up. I'm pretty sure people were enjoying the beautiful feeling and chilling in the Lord, and I'm pretty sure if it happened at that 11 o'clock service, those motherfuckers went on literally for hours, and that would have been a beautiful thing to all get lost in the Lord. But like I said, not everyone has the same palate, and like I said, those motherfuckers that threw up, they did, and they all God bless. What the fuck? What the fuck?
WTF News.
All right, so kind of moving along from natural good old medicine to something kind of closer to nature, but definitely a drug. Out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, authorities say 31 pounds of cocaine was accidentally discovered stashed in the nose of an American Airlines aircraft. Now in Tulsa, that's worth around $400,000. While working in the nose gear, fucking employee actually noticed a look of a clump of constellation or a brick-like object. Called the chef and found out that there was at least bricks the size of about fucking $14,000. Now, and it was on its way to Miami, so it's kind of weird that the motherfucker was going to there, not coming from there. But I don't know if it's the fact that I got another baby on the way, and I'm just thinking like, holy shit, how am I gonna be? How can I get a bigger house? How can I pay for 3 motherfuckers college tuitions? How am I gonna be able to get my fucking motorcycle and Jeep of my dreams? You know what I'm saying? See, and I'm very simple. I am what you would call a basic bitch, and I live a very simplicities, and I really do find comfort in the close company that I keep, and that's really all that I fucking need. And like I said, if I can have some fun little amenities to to play and partner with, that, like, I'm golden. So when I just see so much fucking money, it's so funny how true the words of, and I forget the motherfucker's name, but it was on Scarface, the first motherfucker that gives Tony the help. And now I can't believe I'm forgetting his fucking name, but he gives a little bit of knowledge to Tony right from the get-go, right when he's at the fucking club scene, and Tony's already eyeing this nigga's bitch, fucking thinking to himself he's gonna fuck her. When this motherfucker tells, don't ever underestimate the other guy's greed. And it's what the fuck? Alright, so my last little bit of what the fuck news that I'm gonna be able to give y'all, and it's kind of leading towards into the technology spheres. I mean, more or less, you're gonna hear me rant about some video games is what I'm really going about to happen. But GameStop, which is pretty commercialized gaming store, you're gonna see them spread along. It's fucking brand. It's not your mom and pop shop sort of thing. This shit's a fucking business. And there was some leaks. I don't know if it must have came from employees who just pissed the fuck off, which is funny because people who work there usually are gonna be gamers who love games, who just want to be able to talk and about games all fucking day. So usually those motherfuckers aren't gonna be too happy when they hear some fuck shit that the corporation, which again is the fucking whole entity in which is paying you whatever amount of money to do. They're gonna have their objective, just like any business. Their prime objective is to be able to profit as much as possible. This is why we have such greedy motherfuckers, as I've been kind of escalating from the previous story and whatnot. There's always a thing. If you think I'm just talking out my ass, you're right, but there's a centralized theme, and it's progressive. It's an entire sort of thing. I've been looking from all the way back. I'm real smart, and GameStop, they have a sort of a business to where they sell new and used games, and that's kind of the niche shit about it that makes it almost seem mom and popish, because they, you could trade and do all this other bullshit, and they barely even give you a third of the worth. So I mean, they really fuck you, especially the older you get. Games depreciate like a motherfucker, unless it's a Nintendo game, which is why the only reason I think why they still live in as they are, or around, I should say, and not taken over by these Americanized fucking entities, whatever. But they have this thing to where they want to sell you on not only getting a membership, which cool thing about it is it gives you a fucking magazine, game, electronic monthly, which really you don't fucking need, because we have all this other shit that we see online for free. But it is a dying shit, so I mean that shit should be supported. But other things like just the programs, like adding points. But the main fucked part about this shit is that when it's resold, that money is no longer going back to the companies that produce it and to make it. Usually, even when you see games at the stores, that's the most, unless they're really retarded, which Walmart, God bless you for being so dumb sometimes, because you misprice shit and I end up getting good deals and will end up then trading for new, or just end up reselling. So you always gotta look out for shit and figure out where the market's going. And it's terrible and nerdy that I know how the market works and that shit, but one of the fuck things is that they add about, I don't know, 10% onto the price of games, which is why when you, if ever for yourself or for other people that you know that like gaming, if they have internet connection and they can download shit off of their main store that each system is connected to, that's usually where they can buy the cheapest shit. So that's why buying them gift cards works the most, because they can use that in-game currency to buy shit, download it, get it as cheap as catch flash sales, as opposed to stores where they're gonna hold shit at a ratio, which then looks at fucking eBay and other places that can upsell and price like a motherfucker, creating just this false marketplace, and a tier of prices. So GameStop, they make a lot of money, a majority of money, when it's something that's resold and something that's not new. Just how someone can fucking open up a shitload of new games and just dub it as used, they can only do that financially speaking if they have a sale to tie it to. So one of the messed up things that they try to do is they try to sell you on the used things more, and lie and say that they don't have new copies of it, which of course could be about $5 more expensive, but it's cutting off the money in the pipeline that goes to the actual publishers and developers. And Lord knows we don't need shit going back to the mid-90s when cartridges would fucking cost about $5 just outright. Most games now, they're kind of getting to that point, because right out the gate they sell you a $20 to $50 they call it a season pass that gives you more shit that they didn't have time to put in there at the time of them selling it to you, or maybe they did, which is why they're selling you on it now, so they can make sure they can make more money off of you later down the line. It's what it gets a lot of motherfuckers pissed off, is if you're a gamer or just someone who wants to get someone in general, because to now think that something that's going to cost you $6 time with tax, we'll say $70, and that's not including special editions that come with the little toys or a little piece of fucking poster paper that just that really ain't shit, but to those nerds that love it means the whole world. That shit is just now more expensive, and the fact that one single fucking game costs up toward $100 and $130, that's a third of the fucking price of the motherfucking system that they're planning on anyway. So it's just a mind fuck and a big fuck you. And I can't stand it. And more so for the fact too, they really forcefully try hard to get you on pre-ordering, which is when you put money down in the hopes that you come back to get it there. Sometimes they add an exclusive to it. A lot of times it's just to reserve you a copy. That motherfucker I can just download if I have the space on and an internet connection on my system. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Get in the end, news.